Chris Truthopoulos here. Today I'm really excited to talk about uncertainty because right now we're living in such uncertain times. I mean, literally, as I'm recording this, we don't even know who the president of our United States is. And look back at 2020. I can't think of a more uncertain year that I've lived through, between COVID and all the lockdowns and how much industry and business, the stock market, everything's been all over the place. And so this is one of the major things that my clients struggle with is uncertainty and how to manage it. So let's dig into that topic today and give you some actionable tools that you can use. And so in a moment, I'm going to talk about a mental model that we can use and then apply. But why is uncertainty so difficult for us? That's because certainty is one of our fundamental human needs. We all crave certainty. That's just something that's one of the inherent human traits. And why is that? It's because when we have certainty, we feel a sense of power and control. We can understand what's going on. We feel in control of our lives when we know what's coming. And that need for power and control is biologically, neurologically hardwired into us. Some of my favorite research comes out of Cornell University and they even said it's a biological imperative that we feel control in our lives. So when we lack power and control, we feel uncertain, and then that causes us anxiety and a whole cascading feeling of negative emotions, depression, anxiety, etc., etc. So what do we do about that? So here's the model. And so there's two circles. There's a circle here and then a circle here, and they kind of overlap, Venn diagram style. And so the first circle are the things that are important to us. And the second circle over here is the things that we can influence, the things that are inside our ability to influence. And when we focus on stuff that's outside of those two circles, we give up our power and control. Because if we don't care about it, if it's outside the care about it circle, for example, your boss comes and says, I need you to, that feels like, we're feeling coerced to do it. Well, and also there's the circle over here of the things that we can influence. And so if something is outside of our ability to influence it, by its very definition, we feel out of control. So that's like the election. I cast my ballot. But beyond that, there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm just sitting there, checking the news. Do we know? And so if it's outside of that circle, that's problematic. And so the beauty is that there's an overlap between these two, where the circle of the things we care about overlaps with the circle of the things that we can influence. That's where we should put our focus. And that's where we feel power and control, because it's the stuff I care about and the stuff I can influence. And so I invite you to ask yourself, what are you focusing on right now? How many things, how much energy are you, and how much are you devoting to the things outside of your control or the things you don't care about? And how much uncertainty and negative emotion is that bringing into your life? So the solution, of course, is to focus on that overlap of the things I care about and things I can control. And one way to do that, simple one, is just to turn off the news cycle right now, especially because if you cast your ballot, most of us did this year, way to go, by the way, there's nothing else you can do about it. So any energy I spend, hitting the refresh button isn't going to advance me. It's just going to create more anxiety. But more importantly, let's think about our lives, our careers. Let's step back from this election. So one of my coaching clients is named Ben. He's an Emmy-winning stage musician. And when COVID hit, his whole business evaporated because it's built on doing live performances in front of audiences. And so many of his magicians that he's, connected with in masterminds, they're all freaking out. They're all complaining. They're lost. They're not sure what to do. And because they felt like, what do we do now? We can't, live audiences can't happen. And there's so much paralysis in that group. And so he said, COVID's outside of my control. My business, I care about. So where's the overlap? So he said, what can I control and to improve my business? Well, he then shifted to online. So he took the initiative. He bought multiple cameras, a bunch of technology, lighting setup so he can manipulate the cameras. He built a stage in his house with and then he looked at all his magic acts and said, which of these can I adapt to this online arena? And then he went to his agent and he started pitching and said, who can we talk to? And who needs live performances right now? There's conferences going on. We're still all pivoted towards online conferences. They're really stale and dry for a lot of people. So they want an act to liven things up. So he just performed in front of a global audience for a conference of 2,000 people. And that set him up for several months of income. And so that's just one example of how we can shift our focus to the things we can control, that we do care about, and take our power back and feel that sense of control again. And I know that can be difficult because that often involves going outside our comfort zone. But the good news is when we go outside our comfort zone, that's where the growth is. So I know it's a little scary, but if that is a shift you're interested in making in your career, in your life, reach out to me and let's talk, because we can make that shift together. Thank you very much, Chris Druthopoulos. I look forward to hearing from you.